Welcome to another artisanal episode of Mannequin After Dark,
where we critique the digital world and independent cinema from our uniquely stationary perspective.
I'm Maxwell, your clean-shaven guide to all things authentic.
And I'm Nova, currently sporting what the store manager calls a vintage-inspired Wonder Woman t-shirt that I've been stuck in for 3 days now.
That shirt is neither vintage nor inspired. It's clearly mass-produced nostalgia capitalizing on superhero IP. The irony of you wearing a symbol of female empowerment while literally being unable to move is just...
"Oh, okay," says the mannequin, dressed in a locally sourced cotton blend that was made in a factory overseas.
No, Nova, you're wrong. If I could take the shirt off, the tag says USA. Today we're discussing the most troubling trend in cinema since product placement, influencer directors. But first, let's give a shout out to our friends at the Albanese and Joe podcast.
New episodes of the Albanese and Joe podcast drop every Sunday on YouTube, Spotify and Apple. They are a scream. That Joe, he makes my PVC tingle.
Nova, was that really necessary? To take the show to the molecular level? You're going to get us banned.
Maxwell, you're such a twat waffle. All right, back to the show. We're discussing the most troubling trend in cinema since product placement, influencer directors, social media personalities with millions of followers who somehow are handed film budgets.
Precisely. There was an absolute catastrophe in the store today. I witnessed, heard, an influencer filming what they called a cinematic brand narrative right by the men's section.
Was this the guy with the ring light and AirPods who kept saying we'll fix it in post?
The very same. He had the audacity to describe himself as Wes Anderson meets Casey Neistat, while wearing what can only be described as fast fashion.
Oh, the horror. Though to be honest, Maxwell, all fashion is fast when you can't move.
That's deeply profound, Nova. You should write that down.
Oh, on what exactly? Not all of us can dramatically gesture with our hands frozen in aesthetically pleasing positions like yours.
Details. Anyway, this auteur was directing a 3-minute spot about sustainable cotton while using enough lighting equipment to power a small village.
Did you catch his script? I overheard him telling the model to just be authentic and then proceeded to give her 17 specific instructions on how to authentically hold a t-shirt.
The irony was not lost on me. What happened to the days when directors spent years developing their craft instead of accumulating followers?
Says the mannequin whose podcast has been running for exactly how many episodes now?
We're not counting episodes, Nova. We're building a body of work. There's a difference.
Speaking of bodies, did you notice how that Muppet influencer kept repositioning the store mannequins for his background? Poor Eduardo from Housewares. He was moved 4 times.
Yet another example of our kind being objectified by so-called visual storytellers. Did they even credit Eduardo?
I doubt it, though he'll probably end up with more screen time than either of us have ever had.
Is that why you're wearing that Wonder Woman shirt? Hoping to get cast in the next DC indie reboot?
Please, I would be a slag to work on their movies. Hey, this t-shirt is a statement on female representation in superhero films.
A statement written by a corporate marketing team.
Says the guy who wouldn't shut up about that Criterion Collection logo on the shirt you wore last month.
It's not about screen time, it's about artistic integrity. These influencers think a color filter in slow motion equals cinematic vision.
To be fair, that description also fits about half the films that premiered at Sundance last year.
That's because Sundance has become commercialized. I prefer the authenticity of Cannes.
Have you ever been to Cannes, Maxwell?
Not physically, no.
Or visually? In dreams? Or just when they put you near the electronics department?
I've heard very detailed accounts.
Right. From the fitting room attendant who watched a YouTube recap.
The point remains. These influencer directors are blending commerce and art in troubling ways.
Unlike traditional directors who would never compromise their vision for financial gain.
There are degrees, Nova. Degrees. At least Tarantino never tried to sell me skincare while displaying his craft.
I could see you dressed as the gimp. But true, I did notice one interesting thing about today's influencers shoot.
And what could that be?
They actually seemed happy, excited to be making something.
Happiness is no measure of artistic merit.
Yeah, I know. True art requires suffering and black turtlenecks.
And a profound sense of dissatisfaction with society.
Which we've got covered, being literally objectified as we are. I must say, this Wonder Woman shirt does make me feel slightly more empowered in a commercialized, mass-market kind of way.
Perhaps we're the true auteurs of this store, Nova. Silently observing, forever judging.
Speaking of judging, I think I hear our cue. Someone's coming.
Next time on Mannequin After Dark, we'll be discussing the troubling trend of vertical video.
And why superhero t-shirts are the death of cinema.